What's up to my favorite readers on the entire internet? Today's video is actually going to be a book review for Wave by Sonali Deraniyagala. And if you're not familiar with this book came out in, I believe, 2014. It is a memoir about Sonali's recounts as a tsunami hit Sri Lanka in 2004. The flood itself happened in 2004, but she is being published, I believe, in 2014. To basically summarize this entire book in a couple of words, you're basically reading someone heal themselves from a traumatic event through literature. And that is very important at its essence when it comes into reading this, I feel that. Some can write novels or memoirs to sell them for capitalistic gains, and others could write novels to educate people to be more focused in and hone in on a topic, while this one feels as if it is written as someone who is trying to heal through literature. And it doesn't feel as if she wants it to be read. It feels as if we are in the passenger seat as she is trying to heal through these essays that she's written for herself, and they have now been published to the public. And I feel like that's a huge thing to stylize when it comes into actually reading this. Reading this novel is a very tragic memoir. You have to go into it knowing that this is a tragedy. In the first couple of pages, she describes her life moments before a catastrophic tsunami hits her and changes her entire life in the matter of seconds. Everything in this novel you think could go wrong does go wrong, and it is quite tragic as you read through it. Just going in from the description and a couple pages in, it feels very poignant. In that essence, you can really feel as if you're there watching the tsunami happen and play out. It is very sad and it's very tragic, and to be honest with you, the beginning of the novel where the tsunami eventually does hit is not the most tragic part of this entire novel. It comes way much later. This is not an extraordinary tale about a tsunami that hits Sri Lanka. This is an extraordinary tale about one woman's account of trying to heal from these events. Going into this, I expected to learn a lot more about Sri Lankan culture in this tsunami that hit. Going out of it, I didn't get any of that. I learned a lot about how does one heal through literature and writing. And it's quite poignant to watch her be able to heal through 10 years, a decade almost, of healing, of trying to not forget these events, but be at peace with them. It's interesting. It's a very interesting read from start to finish. I finished it all in, I believe, 2 days because it was very entertaining, and it's also quite short. I believe it's 200 pages. And you're gonna breeze through the first 200 pages. Feels as if it is a very sad and tragic movie, and it moves as such. I'll read the first couple of sentences to you to get a sense of what is going to happen and the weight of everything that is happening in this novel. I thought nothing of it at first. The ocean looked a little closer to our hotel than usual. That was all. A white foamy wave had climbed all the way up to the rim of sand where the beach fell abruptly down to the sea. We never saw the water on that stretch of sand. It was our friend, Orlantha, who alerted me. A short while before, she knocked on our door to ask if we were ready to leave. We almost were. Steve was in the shower, or reading on the toilet more likely. Our two boys were on the back veranda, buzzing around their Christmas presents. At the beginning, you can already see her setting up this very tragic event that is about to unfold. She tells you about her husband, Steve, as well as her two children, who both, spoiler alert, die in this tragedy. And you find that out in the first 10 pages, in the first chapter, so I don't really think that's too much of a spoiler. In addition to going through the tsunami, you actually do learn a lot about this woman's journey on healing, of how low she felt in the very low points of her life. It isn't as if she was writing this for therapy and an editor came along and said I wanted to publish it, and she started to delete all the very bad things that made her look bad, but she kept them all in here, and it comes off as very, very poignant, and it comes off as if she's unveiling a part of herself that she hasn't really unveiled to anyone. There are some dark secrets in here, as well as some very personal details that she gives out to the reader in an attempt to show the reader how she healed, and luckily maybe the reader can find at essence some type of peace so that they could heal themselves in an event that they are going through something that is just as tragic as what she had to go through. As I was saying before, the first 100 pages feels that things are speedily happening, and it is basically moving as if it is a movie, as recounts of the hurricane or tsunami that hit, as well as the unfolding events that came from it. But that's when the last 100 pages kind of differs in the pacing and style of the first 100 pages. But the first 100 pages were very poignant and in essence felt as if it was a movie. The second 100 pages felt as if it was not as much, it was a lot more slower, and it was a lot more painstaking. I do have to say that I did kind of slow down while reading the second half of this novel. It didn't feel as in tune as the first half, and maybe that could have been because of the fact that she written those parts of the novel further out away from the actual event happening, or maybe there are parts that had to get deleted and it didn't feel as smooth as it transitions a lot through time, and we jump a lot more often in the second half than we do in the first half. The second half also recounts some of the things that she does to basically kind of cope with everything that has happened to her. I recommend this novel if you are someone who is going through something traumatic, or you would like to see and understand how literature can help someone heal through traumatic events. I really did enjoy this novel. I really did feel like it was a good read. It took me only 2 days to kind of breeze through it, but it did feel like a really good novel to breeze through. It was very poignant, it was very descriptive, especially the beginning of the novel where she's going into great detail about her despair, as well as the descriptions of the wave itself. It was very descriptive in a way that one would probably describe a fictional novel, and it really does go deep into details about what was going through her mind, as well as what was going on around her. As someone who lives in the middle of a landlocked city in Georgia, I don't really get to experience the beach much, so this imagining a tsunami actually happening is very hard for me to comprehend. But Sonali does a great job of breaking that down and making sure that you can understand what is happening, as well as visualize what exactly and what great details everything is happening. And for that, I really do love this novel, and I would highly recommend you guys go and read it if you are interested in non-fictional memoirs. I couldn't recommend this novel to someone who likes fictional works, as this one doesn't really use or convey the sense of fiction, as in essence it doesn't really tell a coherent story. It is more or less her story of struggling with these events. In that, for some people who like fictional novels such as young adult literature, probably would find this kind of a dry read after the first couple of parts where she describes the wave, because everything after that is kind of time jerking as she jerks around in time and just jumps from place to place. If you have read Wave, leave a link down below in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it, because this novel is one that I really feel like some readers should really enjoy. Thanks for watching. Keep your heads up high and expectations great.